What then, I wonder, if you think such a thing is really a possibility? That you can go into a state in which there is no form, no beginnings, no ends, no boundaries, no limits, and bring from that invisible place something that has substance, that has boundaries, that has formed, that you can hold, that you can smell. And then ask yourself if that's a possibility. I wonder how many of you think yes and how many of you think no. I'm not going to ask. But the fact is that this room has, it looks like 2,500 or so people in the room tonight. Every single one of you is an example of what that poet just described. Every single one of you came from a formless place and are now form. All of you, every flower that you look at began in a seed, and the seed began in something that is invisible. There's a little girl here tonight, Camille. Where's Camille? 6 years old or so, 7 years old. I was swimming with her a little while ago, and she showed me her teeth, and she said, I lost 2 of my teeth. And look, there's two teeth coming underneath it. And she was all excited about that. And I said to her, Mom and my daughter, Summer, who was here, just imagine that in that tiny little infinitesimally small speck that built into that was what she's going through right now. What is there to do? There's nothing for us to do. We can't make a change in that tiny little invisible speck. Everything that you needed for this physical journey was handed to you, and you don't believe in miracles. And the great Tao, many of you know, I lived the Tao for a year, the year I turned 65, and wrote a book on it. A book that I always tell people, carry it with you wherever you go. Some call it the wisest book ever written. And I live the principles of that little book, and I encourage people to just stick it in your new purse, the ones that are made out of plastic, recycled water bottles. Is that all right? And but just carry it with you, because you don't even really need to open it, because the energy from what's in here will come to you. I had a great teacher in India who used to say, he wrote a collection of his writings was called I Am That by Nagata Maharaj. And he used to say to his devotees, you don't have to read it, just carry it with you. And I heard that I was in my early 40s when I heard that. And I just thought, this is just another one of those crazy guys over there in India giving us advice. And I just didn't think that it would be possible to get. But now I've really come to an awareness that energy is in everything, and that just holding this book, literally you could muscle test this kinesiology and put this thing next to your heart, and you will be stronger with it than you were without it. Just try it. Just carry it with you. Let me see who would like a copy of this. Oh, that hand right there. The first hand up there, you? Yep. No, next to you. Yeah, stand up. Would you like to carry this with you? Wherever you go, there you are. God bless you. The Tao Te Ching. It's only a few dollars. It's worth having. One of the great lines in the Tao is what I'm speaking about here at these opening lines. It says that none of you are doing anything. You're all just being done. And when you look at your physical body, there's a recognition that this is absolutely true. You know, I mean, what can you do to change it? You know, things are drooping, folks. You can fix them up if you want to, but the inevitable is there. And the hair, well, for some of you it turns gray, and for some of you it just goes somewhere else. And you begin to see, there's also a great line in the book, because my son, who's sitting in the front row, Sandeep, who graduates in a couple of weeks and is going to start supporting me, I'm so happy about that. Because I often have quoted Latu, and he has often said the Tao, God, divine mind, the Tao does nothing and it leaves nothing undone. It's all perfect. So I say to him, when, over the summer, over in Maui, I said, Saint, come on, do something. You got to do it. Let's go. We got to do something. He looked up at me and he said, I do nothing and I leave nothing. I'm undone. So this cuff can come back at you. It's his favorite line nowadays, philosopher. So the great saint, Swami Makananda, was asked the question, what is real? And his response is really worth you hearing and something for you to really think about, because the strange place that I think it's weird, it's just so magical, but it's still just, it's hard for us to wrap our arms around this idea that all things are possible, this awareness that about what is real, and Makananda said that is real, which never changes. So what part of your physical life meets that definition? We are all in these bodies that are changing every second. Therefore, by that definition, they're not real. So you go back and look at how many bodies you've been in since you showed up here. You were in a body about this big that weighed somewhere between 5 and 10 pounds, and that was you. And you were in a little toddler body about this tall. And you certainly, if someone said, "Is that you?" you would have said, "Yeah, that's me." And then you were in a 13-year-old, 12-year-old body, which is one of these. I have 6 daughters, and they have a stance, and they're about 13, and they go like this, and their leg goes up and down, and they roll their eyes and look at you like you ought to try to get a life someplace. You were in one of those bodies, teenage body, and you thought that was real. That's when you get the great learnings. One of my daughters, Serena, said to me one time when I raised my voice and asked her to hurry up and get moving, "Come on." She looked at, "I wonder what all those people would think of Mr. Positive if they could see him here this morning." She turned to her sister and said, "Would you buy a book from someone who yells at his 11-year-old daughter?" I sneak out of the room and try to, best line I ever heard from many of my children ever, and I follow them around with a pad of paper to give me material. It was for my daughter Summer when she was 13 and her sister was 11, sitting at the breakfast table, and all of a sudden, about 6:30 in the morning, and Summer looked at Serena and said, "Well, if you didn't have any feet, would you wear shoes?" Serena at that time, and it hasn't gone away, could hardly stand anybody talking to her at 6 o'clock in the morning and said, "That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard you say. We don't even talk to me. Why are you just don't even talk to me? Close your mouth. Why are you talking to me? That's so stupid. When even didn't have any feet, would I wear shoes? Of course not."